place, and we have to fight for it. It's the only theatre to survive on Burke Street, once the home of entertainment in Melbourne. The new owners of the Palace, if you heard, want to destroy this place and replace it with a 5-star hotel. Well, good on you. If permitted, the hotel will join the Windsor redevelopment, which will happen next year, in the further loss of our history and heritage in the parliamentary precinct. This proposal is before the current Minister for Planning, and he's made some encouraging noises about how it's inappropriate. But we have the precedent of the Windsor Hotel development. The developers there fought the previous planning minister through the VCAT, and fought ourselves through the Supreme Court, and they prevailed, unfortunately. So we've got a real fight on our hands with this one as well. The National Trust, we warned what would happen with the Windsor, what a precedent it would set, and unfortunately we're now starting to see that forecast come true with this development. So as a community, you know, we have to gather again and we have to fight, and it's fantastic to see so many people here today. The reaction of the community seems to be compelling and overwhelming. We have a big fight, and we encourage you to all get involved. What of the Palace itself as the building? Well, it was built in 1916 as Brennan's Amphitheatre. The facade was significantly altered in the 1950s to its current appearance, and it became, as we heard, the Metro nightclub in 1986. Historically, the interior of the theatre is amongst the most intact and the oldest theatres in the state of Victoria. It's significant, it's worth preserving, and it's worth keeping alive. It's the only theatre to survive on Burke Street, as we said. Now, what do the developers say? The developers say that the top of Burke Street is an exciting and authentic part of Melbourne. Well, we agree. Welcome to Melbourne. What else do the developers say? Well, they say that the area is tired, inactive and run down. Well, we say they're wrong. They've clearly never been to a gig at the Palace Theatre.
Yeah.
Live music is never tired. The developers say that this part of, or that part of town lacks high quality tourism infrastructure to bind the bits together. Well, we say they're wrong about that as well. They clearly don't understand how those bits work together to make contemporary Melbourne special. The developers say that the W Hotel brand will be a coup for Victoria, and their brand can connect to local influences in design and music. Well, they're wrong. They don't understand they're destroying Melbourne's music, anaesthetising Melbourne. The developers say they want their 5-star guests to have an insider's view of the city. Well, they're wrong about that as well, because their brand will be destroying any insiders or outsiders' experience of the city. So this is the wrong development in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hotel towers can be accommodated. They're certainly welcome in certain parts of Melbourne. But parasitic development is not welcome. Parasitic development at the expense of our special places like the Palace Theatre is unwelcome. So please, let's all work together to help save the Palace. Thank you.
Hi, Maiden! Yes! Oh, that's a bit sad. Don't clap louder for that than the other thing. Thank you, Paul, the wrong development. Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Apparently it's tired up here. I bet you none of them actually live here, but still, they wouldn't know what they're talking about. Also, 5-star doesn't equal excitement, always, I find. Bland, exactly. 5-letter word, 5-star word. Excellent. Now, look, you may have seen Chris Thrum on the streets. He's a busker. He's down there always playing music. He's also an interested citizen, as we all are. And interested citizens can get on the internet and look up stuff for themselves. I think we're well and truly aware now that it really is up to people power sometimes. And, you know, governments don't control us. We should control the government and tell them what we need and what we think. And Chris has done a lot of detailed searching and work, so I just wanted to have a bit of a chat to him. Please welcome Chris Thrum. I'll take the little microphone, Chris. You can have the tall one.
Thank you, Julia.
My pleasure. Now, Chris, what what's your involvement in this? You've been quite chickadee-chick on the Facebook and on the internet and found a lot of detail about the development.
Yes, Julia, we've been looking into the certain specific details of this project, but first of all, could we all give another big hand to the people who started the Facebook page and also the petition, because for them, they started the initial push. They had the guts to actually put their name to the line and stand up and fight for live music. Now, in regards to this development, it's a good development, okay? W Hotels is a magnificent worldwide brand. However, as Matthew Guy has already indicated, as brilliant as W Hotels are, and as magnificent as the architectural design is by Bates Smart, it is in the wrong location. The building is too tall. Even with the adjustment of reducing by 28 metres, this building is too tall, and as Planning Minister Matthew Guy has already indicated, it's in the wrong place.
Now, they wanted to build it very high, and they found a solution for that. What was their solution instead of having it too high, which no one wants? They've come up with a brilliant plan. What is it?
They do have a brilliant plan,
yes.
Julia.
Brilliant.
The plan is, if people could look behind me and see the Princess Theatre, okay, just 1 or 2 metres above the Princess Theatre's height, that is the height control limit for the Burke Hill precinct on where we're gathered now.
Correct.
So what they intended to build originally was a building of almost 100 metres.
Mental.
And what occurred was Melbourne City Council and their magnificent council planning team, looking at the problems with the vista of the skyscraper close to Burke Street and the height and the problem with the height control limits, gave feedback to the developers and to the magnificent architects Bates Smart, and they indicated that it's too tall. We're concerned about this height situation. Could you please come back to us with something maybe more appropriate?
Of course.
So Bates Smart came back with a design that was 28 metres less, it's still 72 metres, which is like 49 metres above the height control limit. And also too, they decided that they'd push the skyscraper 3 metres closer to Burke Street.
Genius.
I'm reminding you too that there was concern from the vista from Exhibition Street and Ross Street of a skyscraper blocking Parliament House. And so the solution is they respectfully addressed this problem and said, okay, you have a problem with that. What we'll do is we'll just move it a few metres further that way.
So basically, there's different ways they can weasel their way around it and keep trying, seeing what's out there. Where have you been looking for your stuff online? If people want to find out details and get a bit more information, what have you been looking at?
I recommend people keep in touch with the Facebook page of Save the Palace Theatre. There's lots of instructive information there. They've also got a website now running, savethepalace.com. Also, you have to give credit to Melbourne Heritage Action and their magnificent Facebook page. They're really on top of what's happening there. And I commend also the National Trust for the support that they give to Melbourne Heritage Action. Now, citizens, what you can do to help save the palace is we've stopped the process was halted a while back at Melbourne Council planning level because of the height control problems. And it's like a hurdle. The horse is like in the barrier. They had to take the horse out of the barrier. They put on new shoes. They put the horse, it's the same horse, put the horse back in the barrier. It still smells the same.
Yes.
And they will still want to run it. So what we're saying is that it's not appropriate to run this horse in old Melbourne town. So what you people can do is you can write to your state member of parliament and demand urgent legislation be passed to protect the Palace Theatre. Now, some of you may think that it's impossible for urgent legislation to be passed by state parliament. Well, the fact is that the people that represent us, that's their job. They have to listen to the people.
Yes.
And they do listen to the people if enough people write into the state members of parliament and the state planning minister, Matthew Guy. Now, Julia, there is a precedent in regards to urgent legislation being enacted to protect something of cultural and heritage worth. I'm talking about the Yarra River. As some of you will be aware, last month, the Yarra gatekeepers agitated to have urgent legislation passed to protect the Yarra River from overdevelopment. State Parliament and the state parliamentarians listened to them, and I can tell you that they passed legislation to protect the Yarra River. All you have to do is do the Google search, Yarra River, Yarra Gatekeepers, or like River Keepers, and urgent legislation, and you'll find that the state parliament listen to the people and they pass legislation to protect the Yarra River from overdevelopment. So what you can do is you guys can write to your state members of parliament, and you can write to the planning minister, Matthew Guy, and like the Yarra River, demand that the Palace Theatre be protected because of its cultural and heritage worth.
Thank you very much, Chris Thrum. You can see him in the city.
Thank you, Julia, and thank you all for turning up today.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, instead of just, looking at cats on the internet, go and look at something a bit interesting. Cats, it's so dull after a while. And I'm a cat person, so, last but certainly not least, another terrific politician who's come out today and on a Saturday, on a blowy, lovely, hay fevery Saturday, to be here today and talk. Please welcome from the Greens, Adam Bant.